13 crazy objects humans have sent into space. It's an honor to be chosen as one of the rare few who get to explore space. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication. For those of us that don't qualify, here's a fun list of some random things humans have sent into the skies. From a Beatles song to a lightsaber, you'll be amazed at some of the crazy stuff that's wound up in our planet's orbit or even all the way in deep space. Number 13, Across the Universe. In January 2008, NASA beamed the Beatles song Across the Universe directly into deep space. The transmission was aimed a full 431 light-years away at the North Star Polaris. Sir Paul McCartney expressed his gratitude, both to NASA and to the aliens that may or may not be listening to the song, which was principally written by fellow Beatle John Lennon.
Number 12.
Lego Gods. As we sit comfortably on our planet Earth, there's a space probe, Juno, orbiting the planet Jupiter. Amongst the objects within the probe are, believe it or not, 3 very unique Legos. The specially constructed figurines are the Roman god Jupiter, his wife Juno, and the legendary father of science, Galileo Galilei. Whenever Juno is done with its mission, which should be in the next few years, she will be deorbited and will inevitably crash into the planet. The Lego Gods are part of a long history of Legos in space. A Japanese astronaut built a Lego model of ISS on the actual ISS, and a Danish astronaut brought a bunch of Lego figurines along for his first mission on ISS.
Number 11.
That 70s synopsis of humankind. NASA launched 2 space probes into the skies in mid-1977. Voyager 2 went off to explore Uranus and Neptune, while Voyager 1 took a more direct route into deep space. Today, Voyager 1 is the farthest spacecraft and man-made object from Earth. It still communicates with us by sending data and receiving commands from people here on our planet. But just in case Voyager 1 runs into aliens and they know how to work a phonograph, which would be an insanely huge coincidence, there's also multiple phonograph recordings, known as the Golden Record, on board for them to find. The contents of the records were collected by a committee chaired by astronomer Carl Sagan. They include greetings spoken in 55 different ancient and modern languages, human sounds like a mother and her child kissing, and Carl Sagan's laughter. What a raving egomaniac, am I right? There's also images, including DNA, mathematical equations, animals, landscapes, plants, and insects. Songs include Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good and classical songs by Glenn Gould, Mozart, and Stravinsky.
Number 10.
Pioneer plaques. Before he sent his epic golden record on the Voyager space probe, Carl Sagan designed the Pioneer plaques, a pair of golden anodized aluminum plaques to be sent on the Pioneer 10 in 1972 and Pioneer 11 the next year. Seen here, the plaque shows nude figures of a male and a female along with symbols designed to provide information about where the craft came from. The diagram received some criticism, including people claiming that there was sexual bias shown by having the man waving to greet the potential extraterrestrials while the woman has her hands at her side.
Number 9.
Skywalker's saber. Astronauts had a very special object with them when they launched on the Discovery in October 2007. In honor of the 30th anniversary of the first Star Wars, the original prop lightsaber used by Mark Hamill, the man who played Luke Skywalker in the 1977 film, was allowed to go along for the journey, which went from Earth to the International Space Station and back. On a Discovery mission the next year, the crew made sure to bring a Buzz Lightyear toy with them. To infinity and beyond!
Number 8.
The right stuff. Apollo 11 was one of the most famous space flights of all time. The trip saw American astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin become the first human beings to step foot on the moon. One lesser-known fact about the epic journey was a little piece of fabric and wood that they had with them. The materials were pieces of a rudimentary airplane that the Wright brothers flew a few feet off the ground in 1903.
Number 7.
Spiders in space! Sounds like a good sci-fi flick, but it also describes an actual event. A pair of golden orb spiders, dubbed Gladys and Esmeralda, launched along with the Endeavour aircraft on May 16, 2011. They landed on the International Space Station as part of a study to see how they would live in and react to their new out-of-this-world environment. The pair weren't the first. That honor belongs to a pair of cross spiders that traveled to NASA's Skylab station in 1973.
Number 6.
Dino Bones. Strangely, humans have had a history of sending dinosaur fossils along for space journeys. In 1985, astronaut Lauren Acton took small bits of bone and eggshell found at a nesting site of the hadrosaur, known as Good Mother Lizard, with him during his brief mission to Spacelab 2. Then, in 1998, the shuttle Endeavour borrowed a skull from a Salophysis for their journey to the Mir space station. In both instances, the fossils were brought back to Earth after their journey.
Number 5.
The Moon Museum. In an act of apparent secrecy, this small ceramic wafer was hidden within layers of gold blankets that wrapped part of the Intrepid landing module by a mysterious NASA engineer. After it reached the moon during Apollo 12, the tiny artwork, along with Intrepid, was left behind, making the drawing, presumably, the only museum on the astronomical body. Though it's only 3/4 by half an inch in size, it contains artworks done by 6 prominent artists from the late 1960s. Robert Rauschenberg, David Novros, John Chamberlain, Klaus Oldenburg, Forrest Myers, and Andy Warhol. Warhol drew what was described as a stylized version of his initials. It also looks like a rocket ship, or or something else entirely. Moving on.
Number 4.
Keanu Reeves. When extraterrestrials discover what human beings' apparent idea of aliens are, they will be shocked to discover that it's actor Keanu Reeves. That's right, the star of Point Break and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is amongst the actual stars as an alien. In 2008, to coincide with the release of the movie, the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still was beamed towards Alpha Centauri. Of course, there's plenty of other junk floating around via space communication. Deep Space Communications Network, the people responsible for releasing the movie, offer 5-minute transmissions for $299 on their website.
Number 3.
A corned beef sandwich. Astronaut John Young probably had a huge grin on his face just after takeoff during the Gemini 3 mission in 1965. He had just successfully snuck a 2-day-old corned beef sandwich from Wolfie's restaurant and sandwich shop onto the flight, which was NASA's first ever 2-man space mission. Eventually, Young would reach into his pocket and offer a taste to surprise crewmate Gus Grissom, who gladly accepted. Crumbs inevitably escaped the man's jaws and floated in the microgravity environment in which the space travelers are now enveloped, causing Grissom to quickly put the food away. Down on Earth, NASA was pretty pissed off and reprimanded the pair for the stunt when they returned home. Theoretically, those crumbs could have wreaked havoc on the craft's electronics. Other crews in the future were warned not to pull any similar stunts. But the fact that Young snuck his delicious contraband onto a spaceship with no serious repercussions earns him major props from us.
Number 2.
Delivery or pickup? Pizza Hut proved in 2001 that they will deliver anywhere. They became the first restaurant chain of any kind to deliver to space when they sent a salami pizza to Russian cosmonauts who were on board the International Space Station. Not only did Pizza Hut pay the Russians for the delivery, but the Americans on board also didn't get to eat any. NASA had a policy against advertisements on their spacecrafts, and the US crew was strictly forbidden from munching. Whether or not the Russians ate their pizza mockingly in front of the Americans remains undetermined, but come on, that's something that must have happened. Oh, and next time Pizza Hut says they don't deliver to your area, just bring this story up. Thanks for joining us on our makeshift journey through some of the strangest things that, thanks to us humans, have been sent to space. While a lot of us may never experience what it's like to be in outer space, it's fascinating to know about all the weird stuff that has. As always, thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and look out for our next video.
Number 1.
Sheppards Shot. Alan Shepard famously took golf balls and a club along with him to the moon during the Apollo 14 mission, making him the first person to play golf, or any sport for that matter, on the moon. After striking his second shot, he observed the ball travel a great distance that he estimated as miles and miles and miles. According to experts, this is probably correct. He could have hit the ball 2.5 miles easily. Pretty cool. And what do you think happened to that ball? Shepard didn't get it, and it's not like he had a caddy around, so it's presumably still sitting somewhere on the surface of the moon.